It wasn't until she saw the lawyer get out of the car that the man realized something shocking. The star attorney hired to handle his divorce case was actually his wife, the woman he lived with every single day. Ever since their marriage, she had been a full-time housewife, taking care of the entire family. He had no idea that she was actually a top-tier lawyer who had won over 200 cases. She had even received the highest honor in the legal profession. But because her husband wouldn't let her work outside the home, she chose to retire for 5 years for the sake of their family. During those 5 years, she took care of every detail of their household. She always believed her husband truly cherished her and felt that all her sacrifices were worth it. Time flew by quickly. Today marked her first day returning to the legal world. She didn't tell her family about it, simply saying she had some errands to run. But the moment she left, her husband dropped his mask. His mother and sister also revealed their true colors. His pregnant mistress walked right through their front door. Seeing her belly growing bigger by the day, they were desperate to get divorced. To ensure they wouldn't walk away empty-handed, the mistress hired a star lawyer for help. With her assistance, they were confident they couldn't lose. They even offered the wife's family heirloom jade bracelet as payment. When she saw the bracelet, she noticed it looked exactly like her own. Then she received a video call from her client, and the background made her suspicious. It wasn't until she saw clearly who the client was that she realized it was her own husband. He wanted the divorce to protect his personal assets and leave her with nothing. But all the family assets, including the house, were a personal property from before the marriage. To achieve his goal, he showed nothing but contempt for her. She never imagined that after retiring at the peak of her career for their family, caring for him every day, and even helping him expand his professional network, she would end up being sued for divorce. Not only that, but she was also being painted as a woman of poor character. That evening, she returned home as if nothing had happened. But he told her that his mother and sister had their eyes on a new house. He said that if they had children in the future, their current house would be too small. He persuaded her to sell their current house and buy a bigger one. She immediately understood that he was trying to turn her premarital assets into marital property. He even handed her a house sale contract to sign. Then he used the excuse that his mother was house hunting in the suburbs and asked her to drive out and pick her up. This was clearly a ploy to get her out of the house. At that moment, his mistress texted him, asking him to come downstairs to get her. She decided to play along with their scheme. While changing clothes, she installed hidden cameras throughout the house. She watched as he quickly brought his mistress into their home. She had planned to come back and catch them in the act, but he had double-locked the door. When he finally opened the door, drenched in sweat, she deliberately asked if he hadn't turned on the air conditioning. He lied, claiming the AC was broken. She continued to play dumb and went back to her room. She knew the mistress was hiding under the bed but didn't expose her. Instead, she called a repairman to fix the air conditioning. 2 hours later, the repairman left. The mistress crawled out from under the bed, looking wronged and acting coy. Her husband looked down on his wife even more. Watching the video of her husband's affair, she decided she couldn't let them get away with it. So she agreed to take on this divorce case, which was actually her own case. Her husband excitedly transferred $50,000 as a retainer fee, but as soon as she accepted the case, her in-laws wanted to kick her out of the house. Her husband even moved his mistress in, saying they would go to court in 3 days. When she asked about the grounds for divorce, he said with contempt that he was now a vice president while she was just a useless housewife who wasn't good enough for him. He even pulled out a signed house sale contract, claiming the house had already been transferred to his sister's name. She smiled coldly and said she had never signed any such contract, but they remained confident, believing that with the star lawyer's help, they were guaranteed to win. On the day of the court hearing, the entire family waited at the door for their lawyer, but the person who appeared before them was her, dressed in a lawyer's suit with a commanding presence.